Hi, welcome to my channel. I'm Angelic Alchemy, and this is Unmasking Spiritual Deception, Liberation from Witchcraft and Narcissism. As divine beings, chosen ones, earth angels, light workers, we often don't understand how people view us. We are not completely aware of the jealousy that some people around us may harbor towards us. We're just trying to be ourselves, trying to live our life and be happy. People have no idea how much we go through when we're growing up. And when we finally break free from all of our pain and the troubles we had growing up and start to step into ourselves, we start to shine and we start to feel comfortable in our own skin. We throw off all of the judgments from the past. We start to love ourselves. We start to find our self-confidence. We are pleased to find out that ourselves, our actual authentic selves, is liked by others and that others are drawn to our energy. We find that people seem to be impressed when we show parts of ourselves. And although we start to let our true light shine, we usually hold back for a while. At least just a little bit. We are pleased to find that even then, people seem to be impressed and have admiration towards us. We haven't quite figured out that we are the light. For just a moment, we found hope. We see the light. Because at this point, we haven't quite figured out that we are the light. For the first time, we may have found a job or a friend group, a relationship. We could have gotten our own home for the first time, or moved into somewhere for the first time by ourselves without our parents. And we are excited about what the future can hold. We're finally starting to see a vision for our future. We're finally starting to find happiness and contentment. And while we're enjoying feeling content, happiness, and just being able to settle down in our energy enough to pause and be hopeful and start working towards a future, we have the possibility to be happy and fulfilled for the first time. And while this is going on, we don't realize that we're actually attracting jealousy, envy, and hate by being in our own energy. We know that our energy is somewhat magnetic, but we have no idea how people actually view us. We may not know any better than letting our true self show. After all, we are still partially holding back a little bit. We're not trying to show off. We're not even showing our full selves. We're showing most of it, and people are noticing. It would never even cross our mind that people would want to harm us because of our personality or our looks or the work that we've put into becoming a better version of ourselves. After a lifetime of not fitting in, we finally decide that we don't care anymore. We're going to be ourselves, and people can deal with it. Because as long as we're happy and we know that we're trying, it doesn't really matter what anyone else thinks. And we're continuing to grow, we're being ourselves and going towards our path, discovering our calling and our life purpose. And we have people plotting at us and scheming and planning to harm us and humiliate us and steal from us and destroy and end us. Most likely, we are completely unaware that the people around us are harboring any ill will towards us. We don't see the people who are judging us and assuming that since we're magnetic and beautiful and happy, nice, genuine, we must have always had it easy. We must have just breezed through life because we're just so lucky that we always get what we want. They think that we don't deserve to be happy, that we don't deserve the top position at the job. We don't deserve the love. We don't deserve the money, the house, etc. We don't deserve it. They do. They have no clue that we've never had it easy. We've worked our butt off to get to a place of contentment. And this is the first time that we've even been able to fully be happy or hopeful towards the future. But we don't get to enjoy it long because of these people who really need to go heal themselves. These people need to go take a seat somewhere and go find a clue. They really need to go heal. But instead, my kindness was triggering to these people. And also what made me a target. So the more that I tried to be nice and make people like me, the more that I was attacked. These people knew that they were judging me and intentionally warping their view of me, and that they were purposely giving me a hard time, that they were purposely putting a lot of unnecessary pressure and burdens onto me, and then observing my reactions and using them to judge me more. They would set up scenarios where it would be like if some people set up a scenario where someone was to be harmed, and then that person's overlaying, like, bleeding and crying because they've just gotten, stabbed 10 different times. And they're like, oh my God, she's so loud and annoying over there. Like, these people need help. They're vile and despicable, and that's just what it is. When they met me, I was just finding my footing in life, and I was trying to relearn how to do life sober. Prior to having my first daughter, I struggled with addiction and all of the mental and emotional turmoil that comes along with it. Being addicted to pills led me to stealing money from all of my friends, my parents, and just about every job that I had during that time period. It also led to me being put in jail, being in and out of jail, and being on probation for 5 years. After my immature mindset and my irresponsible behaviors led to me having to do 6 months in jail when my girls were 3 and my youngest was a few months old, I started thinking differently. I felt like I had lost everything during that time, and being away from my girls for so long when they were so young really made me change how I thought and acted. I was determined to never hurt my girls like that again. I started putting intentional effort into becoming the best version of myself. I was grateful for my new mindset and everything that I had, especially since I had gone for some time without it. I became intentional with my growth and my healing, and I became balanced in life. I strove to live and act guided by my morals and values, which have always been righteous and for the greatest good of all, with the exception of when I was deep in addiction. I tried every day to be better than I was the day before, and I was starting to feel good about myself. When you work hard, you develop self-discipline, and you continually are practicing good habits and work ethic, you start to develop self-confidence, which will grow into self-respect. I started to find myself and feel comfortable in my skin. The more I got to know my real authentic self, the more I liked myself. I grew confident again in myself, my abilities, my talents, and my future. When I came together with my counterpart, this multiplied exponentially. When you are with your soulmate, you start to bring out the best in each other. You see yourself through their eyes, and when you are loved correctly, it inspires you to become the best version of yourself. But my glow up inspired jealousy from the people in my counterpart's life. They didn't have a problem with me when I was overweight from the drinking. I did when I was trying to transition from a pain pill addiction to sobriety, or when I was living with my mom and I was on probation, when I was working my butt off in the restaurant business, scraping by constantly just to get my bills paid. No. It was when I stopped drinking, lost the weight, changed my mindset, started healing, and getting deeper into spirituality and my relationship with God, when I discovered the law of attraction, universal laws in general, and I started going through a spiritual awakening. When I learned that life isn't really what people have always said it is, that reality is not what I've always believed it to be, and that you could attract your desires by achieving balance, living intentionally, and getting in touch with your higher self, learning to surrender to the flow of the universe. It gave me a new zeal and zest for life. I was happy and I was content on the inside, and it was reflecting on the outside. I was glowing, looking and feeling better than I had in my entire life. And that is when everyone started having a problem with me. I thought I was doing what everyone else was. I thought I was doing what I was supposed to do. I thought I was rising up to the level that I was supposed to be at, and that everyone else was at, or like where they pretended to be. I thought I was rising up to the level that I was supposed to be at, where everyone else was, or where they pretended to be. I had struggled in life, and it was hard to learn who I was and what I was supposed to be doing. And I viewed myself as being behind in life. I had to work hard, buy a car, get my license back, pay off probation, and then move out of my mom's again. I had just gotten my life on track, and I had begun working towards balance in my stability. I felt as if I was catching up to everyone else, where I should be, but these people did not view it in that way. I had no clue that they had put me up on a pedestal and then hated me for it. My hard work and effort that I was trying so hard to maintain was viewed as showing off. My cooperative, helpful, kind demeanor was viewed as me being fake. Because I had just started feeling comfortable in my body and trying to take care of myself and care about how I presented myself and how I looked, I was trying too hard. I was showing off. I was trying to one-up people. These people were determined to hate me. There was literally nothing that I could have done that would have made them like or approve of me, with the exception of maybe joining the judgment club of misery to help them take advantage of the less fortunate and steal what wasn't theirs and sabotage people that were outshining them, which obviously would never happen. They were heavily projecting their own insecurities onto me and treating me like I should have to do what they say and conform. Every single thing that I said or did was put under a microscope and tore apart by this mean girl crew of hyenas. And there's some men that are involved too, but the same energy applies. The real reason these people didn't like me, the one that fueled every harsh judgment and overcritical opinion, was that they hated how my counterpart loved me and how I loved him. They absolutely hated it. Every one of them. These bitches, for lack of a better word, were green with envy, and it caused their opinion of me and how they viewed every aspect of my life and my relationship with my spouse to be distorted. They refused to admit that they viewed me as superior to them, and they set out on a maniacal mission to prove that I wasn't actually worthy of the love that my counterpart had for me. And the more that they were met with the evidence that I was a genuine person and that I was everything that I appeared to be and claimed to be, the more furious that they would get and determined to expose me and prove their incorrect assumptions to be right. This turned into an obsession with watching me, keeping tabs on my life, sabotaging me, and then laughing and making fun of me when it caused conflict or pain in my life. These three women became obsessed with trying to cause chaos and tragedy in my life using black magic and working with demons, and then waiting and watching for the attacks to hit so they could laugh about it and use it as evidence that they could show my counterpart and everyone else how unworthy I was. They did this for shadows in the years, speaking destruction over my life and then using witchcraft to sort of self-fulfill their prophecies, so they could be like, see, I told you she was a bitch. See, I told you she was this. I told you she was that. This worked for them for quite some time, so they got comfortable with doing it, sabotaging my life, treating it like it was a game, and then shaming me for not being able to live up to their impossible standards. They wanted me to feel like everything that was happening to me was my fault, like I deserved it, like everyone else could breeze through life easily, and I was the one with the problem, like there was something wrong with me. They wanted me to lose my faith in God and in myself. They didn't ever think that I'd find out what they'd been doing behind the scenes, because I'd be too burdened. On top of all the physical hardships, the financial struggles, and the general malice and lack of compassion or empathy around me, they were constantly attacking me with witchcraft, paying other practitioners to do the same, projecting depression and self-hatred onto me, consistently bombarding me with intrusive thoughts. They wanted me to think I was losing my mind, so I would crash out and appear to be mentally ill, like they were constantly telling everybody that I was. They tried to push me so that I would end my own life, or at minimum, get committed to a psych ward. And all of this stemmed from jealousy. Jealousy is a natural human emotion, but if left unchecked, it will fester and turn into envy, which is dangerous. These people were jealous of how I looked, so they attacked it. They were jealous of how people saw me, so they attacked it. They were jealous of my person's love for me, so they attacked it. People will look at your life and they'll see what you have and they'll compare themselves to you. And when you have something that they don't view themselves as having, they will go into a despair because of this comparison that they're making. And they completely disregard the fact that you had to put in a whole bunch of work and everything that it took to get there. They disregard every single thing that you had to do to get to where you are. All of the work, everything that you've been through to get to the point where you are now, they don't think about that. They just see what you have. They see that they don't have it, they want it, and they don't want you to have it. They hate you for it. This episode is about a divine feminine who has been being spiritually attacked by a community of karmic narcissists. Regardless of the gender, you can flip and switch the roles as necessary. You could be this divine feminine, or you could be divine masculine. This could be your counterpart. Take it as it resonates. But this divine feminine is about to receive vindication. This vindication, unfortunately, comes with a lot of bad things happening to a lot of people due to the treatment of this divine being. If this is you, then you can rest assured that you're going to witness karmic justice play out in your situation, because these people refused to listen to this divine being. They refused to listen to you. They refused to see you for who and what you truly are, which is a gift from God, a prophet, a divine being, a literal angel sent to heal, love, and guide these people who ended up turning on you and ruthlessly attacking you. You tried to warn some of these people. If this was your counterpart, you could have tried again and again. You did everything that you could to try and save them, and instead, they sacrificed you. Maybe not in a literal sense, although they could have, but more in a sense of them judging you, shunning you, siding against you, and ignoring all of the truth that you tried sharing with them. You may have watched them go down the wrong path and inevitably self-destruct, or this is happening in the future. It doesn't feel good to be the person that when people treat you bad, bad things happen to them. We, as Earth Angels, want nothing but love, peace, fairness, kindness, and to help people. We don't want vengeance against those who have done us wrong. We want to be left alone to live our life in peace and harmony. But because we are so pure of heart and we have the favor of God, this is the very reason that we are envied, targeted, and attacked. This is by design. God uses us to bring karmic justice into situations where it has been long overdue. This is by design. God uses us to bring karmic justice into situations where it has been long overdue. The ones who harbor greed, jealousy, envy, and live their life from a selfish standpoint, manipulating and using those around them to gain from them, they have most likely been doing this their entire life. And the divine being that they have in their life, they will see them as an easy target for them to harass, bully, and steal from. These narcissistic types of people will view the Earth Angel's ability to self-reflect, take accountability for their own actions, forgive, and love others as a weakness. They peg them as someone who is naive and stupid and become passionate about abusing this person and so they can ascend their status and come up off of this divine one's energy. Once people are actively participating in witchcraft and the spells start to work and bring them what they desire, they get hooked. They acquire a literal addiction to using witchcraft to get what they want. Their willingness to take part in black magic that either they practice themselves or they pay someone else to do makes them able to be used by demonic entities, by the demonic entities that they are colluding with. That is why they will become obsessed with stealing from, attacking, abusing, and destroying the person they have targeted. The entity that now resides within them is actually what's obsessed with destroying this Earth Angel. But since these individuals practicing black magic lack self-awareness of any kind, they will likely not realize this to be the case. They likely will not realize this to be the case. On the other hand, the souls who are not 100% in the darkness, who still may have a small amount of reason or human decency, are meant to awaken to the reality of this situation and the people that they have been surrounding themselves with. This offers a choice. Are you going to stop these destructive habits and behaviors and start thinking for yourself? Are you able to realize who exactly you have been loyal to and for what cause? Can you accept the truth of which side is right and which is wrong? And when you come to this understanding, are you strong enough to do the right thing? Or are you going to continue down your current path of destruction? Or keep turning a blind eye to the evil that you have witnessed unfolding before your very eyes? Some people will simply not want to see the truth because it isn't convenient for them. And it doesn't feel good to say, we are wrong, or we messed up. Or to realize that how we have been behaving, or what we have been taking part in, has actually harmed someone who is innocent. That is what separates the chosen ones from the rest of us. We will stand up to those who seek to harm or mislead others to exploit them, even if we are the only one willing to do so, which oftentimes we are. And it is also what separates the lost souls from the ones who are intentionally evil. This Earth Angel serves not only as a blessing to those who choose to accept and appreciate them for what they are, but also as a lifeline to those who have been headed down the wrong path but haven't completely crossed over to the dark side yet. Unfortunately, most in this situation will not be able to let go of their pride and their ego, which will inevitably cause their destruction. This whole situation stems from 3 extremely evil and demonic individuals who were able to gain the assistance of others with low self-worth and questionable morals and character. These people knew exactly what they were doing when they intentionally misled, confused, and manipulated these others to join their side in attacking these 2 counterparts. They knew what buttons to push and what emotional wounds to keep stabbing and to keep open in order to manipulate this divine masculine against his counterpart. I heard a quote the other day, some old, from, I don't know, it's old. What evil is it that turns the thorn against the rose it was sworn to protect? Like, how good did this person have to be for people to protect them? For people to not attack them? Like, that's kind of the whole point. So, these people who cloak themselves as good people and who are portrayed as, quote, family and friends, intentionally misled this masculine into harboring hate and resentment towards his feminine for breaking his heart. He didn't realize that all these people were actually in contract to destroy his chances with her and push him towards someone who would help exploit him for gain later on down the road. If they could change his view of her and steer him in another direction, then it would be much easier to attack this divine feminine. Not only that, but it would also put this feminine in a very vulnerable state, emotionally, mentally, physically, and spiritually, therefore making their job a lot easier. If they could keep her in a heartbroken, unstable mental state and destroy her stability and support system, it should be a piece of cake to perform the rituals and use witchcraft on her to siphon her energy. Because this masculine didn't want to grow up and thought that he knew what was best for himself, he was able to be manipulated and tricked into turning on this feminine. The divine feminine was meant to help alert this masculine to the evil around him so he could leave it behind and go on his destined path. But instead, he sided against her and enabled these evil people to harm her in ways that he never imagined them capable of. After convincing the masculine that his divine feminine counterpart had betrayed him and broken his heart, this cult or coven may have approached him, or someone that he was dealing with who was involved with this dark organization told him that if he sacrificed this divine feminine, he would gain power, wealth, status, happiness, etc. In hindsight, it's clear to see that the devil was behind this whole thing. The enemy will promise you everything that you want in the world, but the devil is a liar. He tempts only who is willing to be tempted. Because this masculine got involved with the Jezebel to get even with this feminine for something that she didn't even do, this put her in real danger. This masculine may have badmouthed the feminine pretty bad to the Jezebel, and she became jealous and envious of her. She tried to copy and mimic the divine feminine, eventually stealing her energy and trying to destiny swap with her so the masculine would think that the Jezebel was the divine feminine. She got a whole coven or cult to spiritually attack this feminine. This entire community came up against this one divine feminine, and they felt completely justified in sacrificing her and entitled to stealing her spiritual inheritance. All of these people have been harvesting her energy and building with it. We're talking houses, cars, marriages, everything. These people have been consistently spiritually attacking and stealing from this feminine for years. But what they could never and will never do is take you out. And now God is going to use them as an example. We're going to witness these people lose everything. People are going to lose houses, cars, jobs, their marriages, their health, their freedom, and in some cases, their lives. And these idiots who have been messing around in voodoo, sending death magic to chosen ones, and they have children, are incredibly selfish and just plain stupid to believe that this isn't going to affect their children. These people keep repetitively and obsessively sending curses, hexes, demons. Meanwhile, they have absolutely no spiritual protection. They have cursed their bloodlines, and when all of this evil backfires, their children are at risk, to say the least. And as horrible as that is, we are meant to let go of any burdens or guilt associated with this. None of this was our fault. And even if there had been any decisions or actions that you believe had contributed to this or that put you in a bad position so these things can happen to you, you are meant to let that go as well. Release this situation and everyone who is attached to it. Pray for the protection of these innocent children. Pray for these narcissists' deliverance and for God to subdue the entities that are possessing these people. And then free yourself from this so you can move on and get back on your path. A lot of us on this timeline in this collective may have a divine counterpart who was corrupted and misled into siding against us. This person may be in the midst of awakening to the truth of who you are, who these people are, and finally, who they themselves are. Where we currently stand on this timeline, there is a collective of individuals who have awakened to the demonic operations surrounding them. Those of us who were led closer to God by these attacks have been awakened to the true identity of those closest to us, their plots and schemes that they have been involved in surrounding us, and their true intentions behind the mask that they wear. In my personal situation, as I'm sure a lot of this collective can relate to, the physical evidence and public knowledge of the adversity we faced is still surfacing. We are currently in this kind of limbo where the people involved have become intuitively aware of the situation at hand. God has provided us with the knowledge and wisdom to understand what has been happening behind the scenes and who has been involved. But since people may have not yet received actual physical evidence, admissions of guilt, or apologies from those who meant us harm, many may choose to simply not acknowledge what they intuitively feel as fact to their own detriment. This masculine in this situation, which can be any gender, this divine masculine, take it as it resonates, may be struggling with figuring out how to move forward. They're still fighting with these energies in their life that need to be removed. There is a need to overcome procrastination, anxiety, and the fear of abandonment and rejection. Constantly worrying about these deeply ingrained fears is causing these masculines to be paralyzed and remain unbalanced. They are likely constantly asking themselves, what if something doesn't work out? Or what if someone rejects you? Or breaks your heart? Or what if you can't live up to someone's standards and you let them down? Or whatever the case is. That means that you're scared of actually experiencing a real love. These masculines are fighting against it with all they have, literally. Because the last time you may have experienced what you thought was real love, it left you broken and traumatized. But if you are this divine masculine, your path and your discernment are being tested. If you want to be with somebody, or you want a job, or you want to move somewhere, the opinions of anyone outside of yourself should be absolutely irrelevant when deciding whether to do these things or not. Oftentimes, you can be surrounded by individuals who are afraid of love, and whether they're aware of it or not. These people will try to convince you to be scared of it too. You're trying so hard to not be fully committed to a certain person and not to fully work together in tandem with your partner the way that you should, and your resistance is quite literally destroying everything in your life. This person is so resistant to change that they don't even realize that them resisting this divine feminine is what's keeping them stuck and stagnant. It's blocking their abundance. It's the reason why they can't manifest what they want. There's immense stubbornness and pride that has to be let go of in order to move forward out of this situation. The refusal to do shadow work and the necessary healing, the refusal to drop the pride and ego and engage with this divine feminine is ruining their life. This egoic mindset that has them thinking that they are the prize, they are the gifts, and that this divine feminine should bow down and worship them is not only what caused this whole mess to begin with, but it's what will lead to their demise if not acknowledged and repaired. This divine masculine fails to understand that without the divine feminine, they will forever be in poverty. You inherit the keys to the kingdom through the divine feminine. The divine feminine is going to go on and be successful whether the divine masculine hops on board with her or not. If the DM continues to remain in the ego and refuses to be honest with themselves, then there is nothing that the divine feminine or anyone else can do to help convince them. If they flat out refuse to change, the Most High will send in a new divine masculine to assist the divine feminine on her mission. Right now, the divine masculine may be doing all this work and not really getting the desired results. And they're not going to unless they stop resisting the divine feminine and refusing their spiritual awakening. They can keep fighting your connection and their healing, and God will keep putting them into situations where they will literally be forced to look at themselves, their actions, and the truth of the situation. You cannot help anybody at this point. When people decide to stay in their pain, they will stop caring about things, and it will cause them to try and numb out. This will continue to progress on a downward spiral and lead to resentment, bitterness, and jealousy at your ability to heal and move forward. This may sound familiar, as it will lead them back into the same karmic cycle that they continue to experience, which is what put them in a position to be used as an enemy against you in the past. It was this very mindset and thinking that allowed others to peg you as targets for their nefarious plots and schemes. Out of jealousy, resentment, and immaturity, this masculine was running his mouth and telling all sorts of lies about this divine feminine to make himself sound and feel better, because he didn't want to feel abandoned or for others to see him as being rejected. He told lies about you, which at the time he believed to be harmless, his only intention being to make others view you as the bad guy and him as the victim. This emotionally immature and manipulative mindset got you onto the radar of a lot of very evil people. Although this masculine may have not realized this, at the same time, he was treating this divine feminine unfairly. He was having the same exact thing done to him by someone he trusted. This karmic pattern will repeat until it is understood, acknowledged, and intentionally stopped. We have to heal our generational curses or they get passed down. We have to go inside and find out what is broken within us that stops us from allowing in love and the abundance that we deserve. If we are not feeling fully fulfilled with love and abundance, it is because we still have some inner work to do. We still have some healing to do. When you heal, things get repaired. You repair the damage on the inside, and then your life will start to repair itself on the outside. Generational curses get passed down because of people's refusal to acknowledge them and feel the feelings. Emotions will continue to surface in many different ways for cycles until somebody is brave enough to sit there and feel it. Till somebody gets curious as to why things are going the way they are. Why aren't they working? Why is everybody so unhealed? Why are people miserable? Why? Until somebody gets curious and gets intentional about their healing, they will continue to pass down the same generational curses that they have been passed down. They will continue to pass down the same generational curses that have been passed down for years. These are things that we do not want to pass on to our children. If you do not deal with your demons, you do not do the inner work and find out what needs to be healed inside, you will pass down this trauma and this pain to your children. And if you can live with that, then you do not deserve to be a parent. And that's just how I feel. But our job is to leave a legacy, leave something for our children that will set them up for life. Leave something that will ensure that everything that we went through was not for nothing. To take all of the pain and the trauma and the betrayal and the heartache and the wasted years and just to not do anything with it, to not make it change you and just let it defeat you instead is so pointless. If you're going to go through all of that pain, which you really have no choice, you've already been experiencing it and you will continue to. If you're going to go through that pain, make it worth something. Make it worth everything. And make these people give you back everything that they took from you. Every day, every moment of happiness, every experience that you lost and you can't get back because you can't get time back. Make them pay you for it. We need to put purity, love, honesty, and loyalty, and love above everything else, above material gains, and above this limited mindset where people are competing with each other. Competition is for sports. Competition is good in school when you're playing sports because it actually inspires you to work a little harder. But when it is in an environment that is supervised by somebody who is more intelligent and responsible than you, and only in certain arenas, it is not meant to be taken out into your life, to your relationships, to your family members, to your jobs. It is ridiculous to think that you just have to compete with people to get what you want. True wisdom and understanding will tell you that you have your own path. We all have our own path. And the only way for us to get to our own path is to stop worrying so much about what everybody else is doing and just surrender to the universe and God and just trust that God knows what he's doing and that he has a plan for your life and that it's far better than anything that you could imagine. And when you can just let go and surrender, and surrendering doesn't mean give up. You don't give up. You give up your attachment to outcomes. You give up your need to control everything because you can't control anything anyways. It's all an illusion. You don't control shit. Okay. And the more that you try to control your life, the more that you will be lost and confused and in this whole big mess because you're not meant to control situations. You have a path. You have a person that's for you. You have everything that's for you. And when you can just let go and stop judging people and being jealous of what they have and just go get your own, and you can surrender to the flow of the universe, then you will find yourself exactly in the right place at exactly the right time with exactly the right person. And that's exactly how you live in your purpose. That's how you live fulfilled. That's how you're supposed to do it. We're not all supposed to be fighting each other and fighting over scraps. Okay, there's plenty of abundance to go around. People are so ignorant with their small little mindsets. Like, think bigger. Think bigger, okay? And then think bigger again, okay? There's nothing that you can't achieve if you come into balance with the universe, with yourself, and you just, like, relax. You become the master of your own emotions and your own life, your own mind, and then you are literally limitless. Limitless. Like, it sounds so simple now that I understand it, but it's a whole nother story when you're dealing in this 3D realm with these people that try and get you to stay in their box, and then if you try and get them to see that there's something outside of the box, then they think you need to die. Like, it's just crazy. It's barbaric. That's what these people are. These narcissists, these demons, they're just barbaric. But that's why this is being exposed. This is being dismantled, and this is being taken care of. So I'm going to end it here. Stay prayed up. Stay in faith. Stay in an emotionally balanced state so you can know what's for you. God uses our emotions to tell us where to go, to guide us, to tell us who and what is for us. But when we're stressed out and our emotions are always all haywire, we can't get those nudges, and we get lost and confused. Okay, it's so important to stay in your own energy, stay balanced, and not to let people drain you of your energy and siphon your energy and manipulate your energy and all that. And it takes work. It's not easy, but it is possible, and it is absolutely necessary if you ever want to be happy and fulfilled in life. So love yourself and love others. Forgive yourself. Forgive others. Get close to God and achieve some kind of balance. You are so capable of everything that you want to do, and you are so able to receive everything that you want to get in life. Just get on your path and keep going. Just keep going the right way. Do what is right, and that's it, okay? Jesus loves you. God loves you. I love you, and I hope that you all have a great day.